All right, good afternoon, everyone. The Senate Committee on Growth and Infrastructure will come to order. And Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Senator Hammond,
Here.
Senator Hansen, Senator Pazina,
Present.
Senator Spearman,
Here.
Chair Harris.
Here, please mark Senator Hansen present when he arrives. We have 4 members, and so we have quorum. So we will go ahead and just jump right into the business of the day. We've got one bill on our agenda, it's Senate Bill 27, which revises provisions relating to excavations in areas containing subsurface installations. Sounds thrilling. I'll go ahead and invite the Public Utilities Commission to the table. I think we have with us Stephanie Mullen, the Executive Director, Garrett Weir, the General Counsel, and Mr. Paul McGuire. Hello. Welcome. You all can go ahead and begin whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Chair Harris and members of the committee. We appreciate the opportunity to present SB 27 today. For the record, I'm Garrett Weir, General Counsel for the Public Utilities Commission of Nevada. And with me today, and the person who will be doing the majority of the presentation, is our Chief Engineer, Paul McGuire, who his division assists in enforcing the pipeline safety program for the state. So with that, I think I will just hand over the, we're having some technical difficulties. But once we get the presentation loaded up, Mr. McGuire will begin discussing the bill.
Try going directly to PowerPoint and then opening the file by finding it on your USB. Oh, wait, we have tech assistance. Okay, for the committee's information and for those who are in the room, we won't be able to display the PowerPoint on the televisions here. However, it is uploaded on Nellis, so if you can pull out your cell phone, find our committee webpage, it will be there as an attachment for this, as an exhibit for this hearing. Committee members have a version available for them at their desks or online, and so we will all be able to follow along. Don't worry about it. Go ahead and give your presentation. We look forward to it.
Thank you, Senator Harris. Paul McGuire for the record. So Nevada's one-call law, or call before you dig law, is contained in NRS 455. Nevada was one of the leading states in getting a damage prevention law, which essentially requires excavators to call a single number, 811, which goes to our one-call center, and have lines marked 2 days prior to excavating. However, in NRS 455 is a blanket exemption for hand tools. It only covers, and the definition is there in NRS 455-092. It defines excavation as the use of mechanical equipment, so augers, backhoes, drills, but it excludes hand tools. That call before you dig law, Nevada's call before you dig law, is inconsistent with what's occurred over the past couple of years. The United States Department of Transportation, under their Pipeline Safety Administration, passed their own federal law in 2005 or 2015 because some states, unlike Nevada, didn't have a call before you dig law, or they weren't enforcing it, and with excavation damage being the leading cause of pipeline failures, pipeline incidents, they took it on themselves to say if states aren't going to adopt laws and enforce laws, the federal government's going to pass their own. And starting in 2015, they've come and audited each state every year on their program, on their enforcement, with, the threat or the backstop that if the state's not going to do it, the federal government will come in and enforce their law. Luckily, Nevada has been found adequate every year with no issues. However, they do bring up this issue of, well, you have this hand tool exemption that isn't in the federal law. Additionally, that hand tool exemption is inconsistent with OSHA safety rules because, if you had a worker out there and he was digging with a shovel and hit an electrical line and was hurt, my experience would be the OSHA inspector or whoever would have said, well, you should have called. Clearly you would have got the line marked. You're kind of digging blind. So the OSHA regulations are they're not vague, but they say you must do everything you can to protect the workers when digging in areas of hazards. Well, the only way you do that is you call 811 and have the lines marked. It's also inconsistent with what other states, neighboring states do, Arizona, Utah, California. They all don't have a blanket exemption for hand tools. The next graph just shows the great work that Nevada and our utilities and our excavation community has done. When I started here, we used to have 1,500 gas damages a year. We had 5 a day. We're down to below 1 a day. Even though we have so much more gas infrastructure in the ground and we have so many more people digging and working, the fact that our damages are at a historic low is really progress done by everybody. And if you want to rank us with other states, we have consistently been in the top 5 states. The presentation's up. So just going back to this one, as you can see, we used to, for every 1,000 tickets called in, we used to have 14 gas damages. Now, for every 1,000 tickets called in, we have 2 damages, and the final numbers are due in today, but I'm pretty confident that's going to be below 2 this year. On the next page, This just ranks us with other states. So it's a ratio of how many gas customers we have to how many damages we have, similar to vehicle accidents per vehicles on the road. And as you can see, we've constantly ranked in the top 5 nationally, sometimes number 1, sometimes number 4 in this case. So again, that's a credit to the excavation community, the utilities, everybody. If Senate Bill 27 is passed, it would include hand tools in the definition of excavation for licensed contractors, because that would comport with the OSHA requirements of worker safety, and it would apply to anybody else who's digging 12 inches or greater. And the 12 inches comes from the natural gas code, which is 49 CFR 192. That is the minimum depth set by federal pipeline safety regulations that a service can be buried. It's 12 inches on private property, 18 inches on public streets. And there's a reason for that depth. In a lot of states, there's a lot of joint trenching where the gas, the electric, the telecom, everything goes in the same trench. But because gas has a specific gravity less than 1, it's lighter than air, so you want it near the top so that if there is a leak or if there is some breach of the pipe, it mitigates up through the soil and out, as opposed to if it was 8, 10 feet deep, it's going to travel and, can get pool under structures. So, although you want it deep enough so that people don't trip on it or, put a realtor sign and hit it, you don't want it too deep, because the properties of the product are such that, that's one of the safety aspects of natural gas. It has a very specific, small explosive range, and it's lighter than air. So once it gets up to the atmosphere, it will dissipate and shouldn't combust. With that, that's all I have. Garrett?
So I did want, for the record, Garrett Weir, General Counsel, the Public Utilities Commission. I would like to note that there is a minor amendment that's been circulated with the committee to clarify the definition of an emergency or the circumstances that constitute an emergency, and therefore reduce some of the notification requirements, basically allowing immediate action and a subsequent notification to occur as soon as practicable. And specifically, that clarification describes a scenario where an operator would be attempting to determine the severity or spread of a leak, or when there's been a trouble line locate, a problematic line locate for where the operator isn't able to locate exactly where the line is, and they could go ahead and do that after a ticket has been called in by an excavator. So we've worked with operators to put together language that seems to be consensus, but we're happy to continue to work with folks in the interest of seeing Nevada adopt the same standard that exists federally. And with that, happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you so much for your presentation. Committee members? Senator Pizzina.
Thank you so much, Chair, and thank you very much for the presentation. I'm just curious, why were hand tools exempted when this was initially written? More curiosity than anything else.
I can't speak specifically, but I think, if you're going to fall bulb plant, it's hard to, if Boy Scout Troop number 5 is going to pitch a tent in the backyard and have a sleepover with 4-inch tent pegs, it's hard to call those 2 days. So I think, the major, what does the major damage is mechanical equipment, because it can rip it, it can breach it, it can cause. So I think it was probably, let's get that under control and then maybe revisit it.
Okay, other questions from committee members? All right. With that, we'll move to testimony. Anyone here to testify in support of Senate Bill 27? Come on up. Oh, look at that. First time the major utilities are in front of growth and infrastructure, and it's March. Congratulations.
Congratulations to you, Madam Chair. Scott Leadham, representing Southwest Gas, here in support of Senate Bill 27 as amended. Just wanted to put our support on the record. Obviously, safety is very important to our company, and we believe that this matching the state requirements to federal requirements is a great idea, and will just help increase safety. And also want to say thank you to the Public Utilities Commission for reaching out to us many months ago on this bill and working with us to make sure that we're in a good spot as we move into session. So I want to thank them and thank you for the opportunity to testify in support.
Chair Harris, Vice Chair Spearman, committee members, thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak in support. Devlin Doneshrews, DANESHFOROUZ, here on behalf of NV Energy. We are in support of SB 27 as amended. We also want to thank the PUCN for bringing us in early to discuss our comments and considering our language. This bill will promote safety, reliability, while also preserving our ability to restore service during an emergency quickly. So just want to thank everyone for helping. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else in Carson City want to testify? Okay, don't see anyone in Las Vegas either. BPS, would you check the phones, please?
Chair, there are no callers for support at this time.
Thank you. Anyone here in Carson City would like to testify in opposition to Senate Bill 27? Okay, don't see anyone coming up. I also still do not see anyone in Las Vegas. Let's check the phones again, please.
Chair, there are no callers for opposition at this time.
Okay, anyone here to testify in the neutral position on Senate Bill 27? All right, I'm not seeing any movement. I also still do not see anyone in Las Vegas, and I'm going to guess there's no one on the phone, but let's check anyway.
Thank you, Chair. There are no callers for neutral at this time.
Okay, unless you all want to come up and make some closing remarks, no? Okay, don't blame you. We'll go ahead and close the hearing out on Senate Bill 27 and turn to public comment. Anyone here in Carson City want to give public comment? All right, no one in Las Vegas either. Can we see if there's someone on the phone, BPS, who'd like to just give general public comment, please?
Chair, the public line is open and working, and there are no callers at this time.
Okay, with that, ladies and gentlemen, we are adjourned. Have a great afternoon.